Okay, so I really need to talk about this because I think it's very interesting. So you may see I'm on the ClickTeam website. If you don't know, I use ClickTeam as what I use to make games. Yay, ClickTeam Fusion 2.5. Yay, it's great and wonderful. Try it out if you have $100 to spare. Right. Anyways, I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about the ever so weighted Fusion 3, which kind of everyone in the community is pretty excited about. And I'm here to stomp on that dream and tell you that, yeah, it's probably not going to work out. And I have a few reasons for this. So let me start out at number one. Okay? They promised Fusion 3 in 2017. Okay, that's when they said that it was going to be released, was sometime at late 2017. So that's about roughly 2 years. Roughly 2 years since they announced its release. And what do they have to show for it? Nothing. There's no release. Alright? There's no Fusion 3. Alright? And yeah, that's really the main point. That you haven't came up with it. And second off, the main reason why, not second off, who says that? Obviously me. No, second of all, the reason why Game Maker Studio 2 is more popular than ClickTeam Fusion 2.5 is because of its hairline superiority in how it works, and a few other things, like how, I guess, you can hardcode. And this is, it's weird to see how Fusion 2.5 is being marketed as an educational tool. They market it as an educational tool and give schools discounts for it. And that kind of bothers me because it's kind of how Scratch marketed itself, and how Scratch became big is they marketed it as hour of code with no tutorials. And Scratch is really all it is Scratch, and the actual hourofcode.org. Actually, can I go in there? Hold on. Nope. 503, my favorite. It's like it's marketed as teaching, hour of code and Scratch teaching. Marketed as this website are marketed as teaching kids logical thinking, and that's kind of where Fusion 2.5 comes. It's kind of what's trying to market it itself as, is teaching kids logical thinking while they're mostly making games. While at the same time, they're trying to market themselves as a professional game development tool. You can't be one or the other, okay? It's like, you can't. See, this, here, let me actually go Scratch. Okay, so, and, I use Opera. It's great. Half the time. There's like a 50% chance of every website breaking in it. Anyways, let me show you this. This can't be marketed as a professional game development tool, and has to be marketed as this, an educational tool meant to teach kids logical thinking. Oh, and there goes the fans on my computer wrapping up again. Okay, and this bothers me because you can't be one or the other. And this is where part of the reason why Game Maker Studio 2 is more popular, because they've marketed themselves as a professional game development tool and a way to teach kids coding with their hard code ability. And if you've seen that interview that they did with two of the main developers of Fusion, of just ClickTeam products, you've seen that they talked about how you're not going to be able to probably hard code in Fusion 3, which at this point I would say it's not, because I'm just assuming it's not coming out at all. Wow. They also have pointed out how you'll be able to watch C populate. Now, why would you want to watch code populate? Like, watch behind the scenes code populate, but not be able to hard write code. I don't get why it would be like that. Like, if you made so you could actually hard code stuff in something like C or Java and something like C Sharp or C++, you would be able to market it like Game Maker Studio 2, teaching kids how to program while making games, and also market it as a professional game development tool. Because you see, when you market something as teaching kids logical thinking, this is what it looks like. And there's actually been some pretty good stuff on Scratch. Someone made a raycasting engine on Scratch, made a portal maze off of it. Like that was pretty amazing. It broke like all the time, but you get the idea. And I hope. Yeah, let me go into the next point. That's kind of my second point. Is that it's weird to market it as something like this, and also as a professional game development tool. See, it marks itself as teach kids logical thinking with spreadsheets, and that's basically what it is. It's filling out spreadsheets, right? Lost to trying to market itself as a professional game development tool for indie creators. But anyways, my third thing I wanted to talk about. What was my third thing? Oh yeah, right. Is I hope they don't have this release system that they have going on so far. So if you don't know, it's not ClickTeam Fusion. I need to go to Wikipedia for this. Yeah, Wikipedia. Well, what they've done is instead of making it be released in incremental releases, well, on the website, instead of it being released in incremental releases, it's being released as kind of updates. So, you start with Click and Play, first software in 1994. Later you get Click and Create, which, it was later renamed. Okay, did not know that. And then you end up with Game Factory, Game Factory 2, MMF, MMF2, CTF 2. It's CTF or whatever. It's probably CF. It's coming up in these releases where it's the same engine, just kind of being built on top of itself and becoming more advanced. And the problem with this is it's years, possibly even decades apart from each software release. And this is a problem because with something like Unity, they're being released in incremental updates, which not incremental, just being released in multiple updates, which I think is much better because what they can do is they can build in support for what's big right now, because the game industry is constantly changing. In 2018 alone, there was it was the Switch, and then it was the what are they called? It was called the Epic Game Store, and then it was the Epic Game Store. Because Unity is able to stick with those and constantly update themselves to work with these new things, with releasing multiple updates to the same engine, right? And I think that's a much better approach, especially today with game industry constantly changing, and that's why Unity. I think there's multiple reasons why Unity is used more, and it's better. Okay, it's better than Game Maker Studio. Is it wrong if I call Game Maker Studio GMS 2? No, I call QuickTime Fusion 2.5 CTF 2.5. Anyways, because they do this, they're able to constantly stay up to date with whatever game trends there are. And Game Maker Studio didn't do this. I'm not sure what's going on with Game Maker Studio. Never used it. Don't plan on using it currently. I'm not really interested in it. Although their website's better than ClickTeam's. Just be honest here, okay? The homepages just look better. And there go the fans. Yay, now you get to hear my voice cutting in and out because of this dumb microphone system for that. Yay, the audio got even more trash. Oh, wait, even trashy. I don't know. You can just see that these are better. So, yeah, just better things. But the way ClickTeam, and the way they solve this problem, ClickTeam Fusion, is instead of doing updates, SDKs, yay, my favorite. Okay, let me actually go to here where you can download the SDKs. What they do is they give you SDKs for each exporter, which, yes, they did find a way to make more money where instead of you just paying for everyone's favorite software, you asked to wrong one. You asked to have to pay for exporters to do wrong state. You also have to pay for exporters to export in something that's not a Windows executable. So, you know, let me actually go here. So, you know, they have these exporters, which you just are kind of DLCs. Yeah, kind of DLCs. But if we actually, I know where they keep the HTML5 one on here, so I can show you this. They give you SDKs, so instead of them making releases, they expect the community. They kind of expect the community in a way to keep it up to date and keeping the engine up to date. And this, it kind of bothers me, but I hope with Fusion 3, when Fusion 3 comes out, if it comes out, which is very unlikely with, you know, the whole management that they have going on over there, you know, I hope they don't come up with like a, you know, and then 10 years later, Fusion 4 and then Fusion 5. Instead, I hope that Fusion 3 has incremental releases where it just updates itself. They update Fusion 3. You know, it's the engine to end the engines, I guess you could say, end this current system they have going on. I hope that this solves that problem where it ends up getting an update system like Unity, where they just update, you know, just update the same engine instead of making one engine, releasing it, giving it a few bug fixes, which ClickTeam Fusion, which CTF 2.5 does have. They do come up with incremental bug releases. That's all those are, is just bug releases. I hope that they come with in Fusion 3 they have a update system like Unity where they're just updating the same engine instead of having, and you know, go away from the current update system they have, which is release a new engine every 10 years or so. And I think this would be much better for a long term because it'll be able to stay up to date with the trends much easier. And I hope they also keep the SDK system, because if there's some really obscure thing someone who uses the engine wants to do in the engine, they'll be able to, you know, pick up the SDK, and if they have some knowledge in the program it's written in, the language it's written in, then they'll be able to just make their obscure extension object and import it into the game and things like that. But I'm talking about incremental releases so Fusion 3 can stay up to date with current big trends, so like Nintendo Switch or Epic Games Launcher or the Epic Games Store, and big trends like that. So, you know, they'd be able to come up with like a, you know, better support. And, you know, they've come up with like this whole reactor idea, which is you'll be able to export your game for multiple different console stuff, supposed to keep it up to date for that. Damn, I just dropped an audio jack. I hope that they have these incremental releases, and yeah, the reactor will be great because you can release it for more consoles, but having incremental releases on Fusion 3's part, not the reactor is the exporter part, but on the actual engine's part, I hope they have incremental releases to give support for stuff like the Nintendo Switch, because if they do that, then, you know, you could end up building in controller support for a Nintendo Switch on it, supplied by ClickTeam, which means that it would hopefully be better than, you know, some indie developer who makes games in the software in his free time making it. Hopefully it'd be much better, much more supported, and much more reliable than, you know, Jim in his basement making his game after work every day, you know? I hope that they come they use that system. Now, next part of concern, yay, CTF 2.5 plus. Now this scares me. This scares me to hell because oh shit, that's the I hope that they, part of the reason why Fusion 3 is probably not going to come out is because of their, quote-unquote remanagement and new team, which doesn't mean anything good. It just means that they either fired a bunch of people and hired a bunch of new people, or they just hired a bunch of new people. But it usually means that there's new people coming onto the scene of developing this engine that's been in development, hopefully in development, for the past 2+ years. Okay? Without having any clue what it is. So they have to, you end up with all these kind of newbies to an engine, developing an engine, coming on scene to an engine that's, in development, which it's not a good thing. Okay? It has to have the new DLC that's supposed to come out for CTF 2.5, which scares me. Okay? It really scares me. Yeah, see, yeah. Well, problem is they should be putting focus on Fusion 3 and only Fusion 3. It should be only Fusion 3, only the reactor. The reactor as in Fusion 3's reactor, not the Humble Bundle that they do every month or so here. Okay? And I don't... Wait, what? Okay, hold on, I've never actually seen this page, so give me a second. So I don't get why they are trying to make a DLC that's supposed to implement some, I guess, Fusion 3 properties in the CTF 2.5, when they should just be implementing these in Fusion 3 and making sure they're solid for the release of Fusion 3. They shouldn't be working on a DLC. They should be working on Fusion 3. Right? They should... I don't even get why. It kind of bothers me that they say they're going to release this engine 2 years ago. Everyone's excited, and everyone's sort of still excited, but people are kind of starting to realize that it's probably not going to come out. For good reason. Hold on. Yeah, that's a friend from school. Was asking him if I could borrow his Xbox controller so I could test Xbox support on my game. Okay, but the problem I have with is... hold on 1 second. Oh yeah, right, someone was, Russian site was clickbaiting on my Zentako's videos. Yeah, that's just something. Anyways, the point I don't get is, why are they... Okay, that's just a guy talking about how he got demoted. Screw that. Okay, that point, I don't get why. It just bothers me that they said they were going to release this engine 2 years ago. It's 2 years ago they said they were going to release this, still not released, and 2 years later, hearing nothing from them, they come out with, we're going to release a DLC for CTF 2.5 that has things from Fusion 3. I don't get it. I seriously don't. Right, and then their whole quote-unquote remanagement. I'm not going to turn on my camera, but if I did, you would see how I'm doing air quotes right now. The quote-unquote remanagement, that bothers me even more because, again, it's either, firing old people who knew their way around this new engine, for new people who have no clue who have no clue, if not little clue, on what they're working on, or they just hired a bunch of new people who have no clue what they're working on. Alright? Huh. I don't get why ClickTeam, but anyways, the whole point of this video is to say, Fusion 3 probably isn't going to come out from what's been going on, okay? And if it does, it's probably not going to, because they're trying to make, thing with Fusion 3, and they've advertised it as this, is they're trying to make an engine, okay, that is able to be used for AAA games. Problem with that? That was 2 years ago. Okay, 2 years ago is different than now. Okay? What's probably going to happen is because one of the reasons why Unity is good for AAA games is because it's constantly getting updated and constantly getting support for what's currently trending in games, in the what am I trying to say? Because it's constantly updating itself in constantly, shit, I can't speak. It's constantly updating itself in, to stay up to date with whatever trends that there are in the gaming world. So, you know, like Nintendo Switch, Epic Game Store. You know, in 2012, it was XNA. Right? Well, that's a bad example because they have an XNA exporter. It's very old. Don't recommend using it, but they do. You know, oh yeah, it's a Fusion 2 exporter. Anyways, you know, Unity constantly updates itself, and so does Unreal Engine. I might just bang the microphone. So does Unreal Engine. So does Unreal 4. So it can stay up to date with current trends. Fusion, on the other hand, yeah, no. What they do, they give their users SDKs and tell them, you know, you want something, make that something. That's not even good, too, because it still has limitations from the engine, which, from what I could figure out, was released a little after 2013. It was released in a little bit after 2013. Okay? It still has limitations that an engine from 2013 would have. Okay? Unity and Unreal Engine, on the other hand, don't, because they are constantly being updated. These are being updated. This isn't, okay? This they just threw a bunch of stuff at their users and said, you want something, make it, but we still have limitations because we're not updating our engine, okay? Yeah. You get how I'm not too happy about the situation that Fusion has. Okay? That's another thing. All the SDK, and that brings me on to another thing, just gonna be very short, last thing I have to say. All the SDKs for all the different exporters, this is a problem, okay? You wanna know why? Because no one's going to have the time to write and rewrite the code so many times in so many different languages so it can be exported in all the so it can be exported with all the exporters. Okay, it's like, look at this, okay? What can I code in for an executable be? C++ or C. Okay, that was, oh, nope, that was just getting started. Okay, Windows, what can I code to this in to execute it? C/C++. Okay, iOS, what could I code in it to be exported in? Okay, what is it? Objective-C, different language. Okay, that's a problem. You're already going to have to rewrite, you know, you write something for this and you want to, you know, make a game and you're using an export that you wrote in Windows, you're using an object that you wrote in C or C++, and you want to make that so it could be played on your phone. Well, guess what? You have to rewrite that whole object so it can even be used on iOS. Okay, what about Flash? Okay, that one I'm going to give a break because it's Flash. Okay, Android. Yep, that. Okay, that has C++, so I'm going to give that a break too. But, actually, I'm not. because the Windows and Android SDKs look different, so you're still going to have to do some porting there. In HTML5, it's just in JavaScript. That one's just in JavaScript, but you get the idea. You have to rewrite it a bunch of different times for it to be able to be used in these, across all platforms. Okay? You want to get your game out there? Well, guess what? You can't, because more likely than not, you're using an extension that's not supported by one or more platforms, okay? And really, the only ones that are, there are a few that are exceptions to this, but really the only ones that are able to be used in all exporters were made by ClickTeam. Yeah, again, ClickTeam should make it so Fusion 3 just gets updates like Unity and Unreal, so you would have something like exporters with more support and objects with more support. Just the engine would grow and advance and become better over time, like Unity has. Alright? Unity wasn't that good 3 years ago. Well, it was good 3 years ago, but it wasn't as good 3 years ago as it is now. You wanna know why? Because they keep updating it. One hand to ClickTeam, they only release a new engine every few years, century. Their engines, they don't update their engines unless it's a bug fix, or in this case a DLC, which I'm still concerned about. Why you would make a DLC and not the ever so awaited engine that people have been waiting longer for, and not just prioritizing on something that would be the biggest moneymaker. I don't get why their engines don't grow with the times. Why don't they make it so Fusion 3 grow? They should make it so Fusion 3 kind of grows. It has releases. There's not an engine released after Fusion 3 unless there's some big underlying problem with Fusion 3. Because of, unless it gets so old that updating it doesn't keep it updated. Okay? And then you can create a new engine, but they shouldn't be waiting 10 years to make a new engine. Wait, hold on. They shouldn't be waiting about like 5 years. Sorry if I've been saying 10. It's probably 5 to 10 years to just create a new engine, when you could have spent that whole time giving your current engine more support, updating it, making it so people could export stuff on the Nintendo Switch, and then phasing that exporter out, and just do what you did with the XNA exporter. Okay, take it from the web shop to the Click Store. Okay, you could just move it into the Click Store. Okay, people will still be able to export stuff for it, but by the time that Nintendo removes official support, or whatever the console maker removes, they don't support it anymore, don't support that exporter anymore. But you shouldn't be just sitting there not updating your engine or your exporters, right? Even if it's just releasing new exporters for different consoles, right? Even if there's a PlayStation exporter or a Nintendo Switch exporter, it would. And you could just price them at $200 too, a piece, a pop. Right? But you should at least, make it so Fusion 3, just, you update it, give it more support, keep it updated to times. And I guess that this DLC is going to be that answer for Fusion 2.5, but I'm still not happy about that, because Fusion 2.5 is very old. And you should be more focusing on Fusion 3, which will be much better than Fusion 2.5. Instead of making a DLC and updating your current engine, just make a new engine and make it so that engine gets incremental updates. That's kind of all I have to say. I play games, formerly Devious and SRSK. I changed my name because the old one is very cringy, but I play game. I don't get how you say that. Anyways, Guess I'll see you guys in the next video or stream or whatever it is. Sorry about the microphone on this computer. It's really weird. If you've watched to this point, thank you for suffering through that. See you guys in the next video or stream. Hopefully by then Fusion 3's been released or Clickteam's got their shit together. But until then, to the next video, to the next stream. See you then. Goodbye.